Hello, my name is Christophe Grégoire. I'm the Technical and Operation Director of Astrid. Astrid is the limited company in Belgium that builds and operates the mission-critical communication network. To present you the activity of Astrid, I invite you to watch the small video that follows.
Our safety. It is protected by numerous services, and good communication is of real importance here. Sometimes it is of vital importance. Reliable, efficient and safe communication. For this reason, the Belgian authorities established Astrid back in 1998, a national digital communication network for all emergency and security services in Belgium. The fire brigade, police, ambulances, the army, as well as other private or state-owned agencies involved in public safety. They all rely on Astrid to handle emergency calls, to communicate in a group using radios and pagers to ensure efficient collaboration, to consult databases and send files on location, to provide advanced applications that facilitate interventions, and to offer advice, support and the necessary training. With Astrid, communication between the various different agencies is reliable and super fast. Teams will be on site quicker this way. Listening in on calls is no longer possible thanks to security and encryption systems. And moreover, the emergency worker experiences reliable communications. A close network of base stations ensures that coverage is optimal, even in situations where the network is heavily loaded thanks to the many backup systems. In addition, the services can count on support 24/7. That's how we contribute to the safety of the teams on site, as well as that of all citizens. Want to know more about Astrid? Go to astrid.be.
For more than 20 years now, Astrid is providing the solution you have seen. By doing so, Astrid contributes to its mission, creating a safer place for the public safety services and for the population. We do that at a fair and reasonable price and in a non-profit model. Today, we serve more than 850 organizations and we have more than 57,000 users on the mobile communication network. The solution we have built is based on two communication networks. First, a voice communication network based on Tetra technology, and then a mobile data communication network based on an MVNO model. The voice communication network is a Tetra-based network that has been deployed since the year 2000. We operate the network that provides a nationwide coverage, indoor and outdoor, thanks to more than 600 base stations and hundreds of repeaters for special locations. We have today more than 57 users on the network. We provide nearly all standardized Tetra services on the network for the voice communication, individual call, group call, emergency call. The network is secured with mutual authentication and air interface encryption. We also provide data services on the Tetra network, packet data services and short data services. The network we have built is a highly reliable and available network. Also, in the 20 years of operations, the network has been continuously improved to provide better services. We built more than 120 additional masts to provide a better coverage. We increased the capacity of the network. Also, the network is real-time monitored 24/7 by Astrid. And in case of failure, we also have contracted partners who support the network for repair during these 24/7 hours. The network is also subject to a maintenance plan that helps to keep the network updated to the latest software release of the provider in a way that the network operates at an optimal performance. Since the network has been deployed from 2000, when we reached the year 2015, we have seen that many important components were reaching the end of life. So at Astrid, we decided around 2014 to invest again in the Tetra network, and we performed what we call the midlife upgrade. In that way, we have replaced many major components of the network: the access network, the base station, but also the core switches. By doing so, we have extended the life cycle of the Tetra network beyond 2030. If the Tetra network definitely meets the requirements for mission-critical voice communication, we all know that it does not suit critical mobile data communication. Starting from the year 2010, we have seen an increased requirements for mobile data communication. We have seen more and more mobile data application coming. It was clear for us at that time that we had no solution to meet these requirements and new expectations. The mobile commercial operators were focused on mass market and consumer market. Their networks were not suited for mission-critical communications. With the Tetra network, we could provide voice communication, but we had no data communication. So we decided at that time to build a new service, Blue Light Mobile. Blue Light Mobile is a mobile communication service based on an MVNO model. By that I mean that we make use of commercial networks to build a service, but we will reinforce the service with mission-critical characteristics. We have agreed with the commercial operator that they will provide for the public safety services some quality of service, additional bandwidth. Also, we decided to put additional security on the system, and Astrid was acting as single point of contact for our end user. The service was launched in 2014. In 2017, we decided to improve the service by adding again some new features that are related to mission-critical services. So we have some negotiation with one mobile operator in Belgium who agrees to provide priority, preemption, and access class barring features for the public safety services. Also, since the first version of the service was based on 3G, we decided to provide also 4G services. And we implemented also voice communication on top of Blue Light Mobile. So that's the current service today. We decided recently to extend the life cycle of the solution also to an horizon of 2030. We can say that today we have a solution that suits the requirements that our end users have today. With the Tetra communication network, we can provide mission-critical voice communication services. And with Blue Light Mobile, we can provide mobile data communication services, even if it's not mission-critical. Those two services are complementary. As a matter of fact, still, we have to adapt ourselves. First, because the solution is valid until 2030, and we have to look beyond 2030. We have to prepare for the future. Also because today we receive more and more requests for additional services, the transfer of video, of picture, and we see also the world of IoT coming. So in the years 2017, we started a new journey. We started developing a new strategy for the transition to a new generation of critical communication. So that's really a journey we started, a journey for which we have major steps and major milestones. The major steps we have to go through is, first of all, guaranteeing the continuity of the service. It is clear for us that any disruption in the critical communication is not acceptable. So even if we plan for a future system, we have to guarantee the continuity of the current system. We also have to plan for the transition of one system to a new system. That's one step. The second step is building the strategy. By that I mean having a good knowledge of what are the requirements of the end user, having a good knowledge of what are the possible scenarios, the possible solutions that we can deploy, make the choice of one, having the support of the different stakeholders. Then, of course, once a vision is built, we have to build the foundation, develop a roadmap for the transition, and build a new solution. That's the journey we started in 2017. The first step, of course, was building the continuity of the service. That is exactly what we have done with the evolution of our solution. Around 2015, when we decided to invest again in the Tetra network, in fact, we have the following reasoning. We had to move from one system to a new system. Then the question was raised, do we have to move to a new technology, like other networks did, for instance, in UK with ESN, or do we have to invest again in the Tetra technology? The analysis we have done at that moment was the following. The technology was not mature enough. The standardization process for the new technology, mission-critical push-to-talk on 5G, was still going on, and we didn't expect the standardization work to be done before 2020. Also, since we had a proposal for broadband communication, there was no urgency to develop the new system at that moment. So the strategy we implemented at that moment was a fill the gap strategy. We will invest again in the Tetra technology. We will invest again in our MVNO model to fill the gap between 2015 and the moment where the new technology will be standardized and will be mature enough to be used for mission-critical services. That step has been done. We have invested in these two solutions, and these two solutions will be supported until 2030. For the next step, building the strategy, having a good knowledge of the requirements of the end user, having a good knowledge of the possible solution that we could implement. At that moment, there were already a lot of study done at international level. A lot of publications were already available. They were available from the TCCA, CCBG. They were available from the European Commission also. So from the studies that were available at that time, the requirements of the end user have been translated into technical requirements. We can say that they have been translated into requirements about spectrum. Spectrum is the basic requirements you need to build a new communication service. So it was stated that for public safety services, we need a spectrum of 2 × 10 MHz, at least for mobile voice communication. On top of that, you have to add critical data communication. So the main criteria is gaining spectrum. For the different possible solutions for a new communication system, there were also many studies available. All these studies point to different models. This model goes from dedicated networks, where you build really a new dedicated network for public safety services, to another extreme that would be use the existing commercial network to build your mission-critical communication service. Between these two extremes, there exists some variant of the solution, hybrid solutions, where you can make use of a mix of dedicated components and a mix of commercial network. As a matter of fact, if you want to use commercial network to build a mission-critical communication network, it is clear that you have to specify a lot of constraints. These constraints are the requirements needed by the mission-critical services. And it's all about having a network that is reliable enough, that is available enough, that is robust enough, but that also offered the features needed by the public safety services. Group call, very fast call setup time, but also priorities, preemption, access class barring. So if you want to use commercial network for mission-critical services, you have to take necessary measures and get sufficient guarantees from the commercial network that they will provide these requirements to you. Between these two extremes, building a dedicated network or using completely a commercial network, you have some variant. You can build hybrid system where you can have dedicated components of a network only used for public safety services, and you can make use of some component of commercial network. But there too, you have to set the same requirement on the commercial network. One critical success factor in the choice of the model is the availability of frequency spectrum. Frequency spectrum is a rare resource that everybody wants. Of course, it's the basic requirement if you want to build a dedicated network. And that is critical. If you have no spectrum, you can't build that network, and you limit the choice you have. You limit the choice to the use of commercial network. So the strategy we used at Astrid, we deployed at Astrid in 2017-2018 with many stakeholders in Belgium, the regulator, the government, but also with the mobile operator was the following. We had a two-step. The first step was trying to get spectrum. If Astrid could get spectrum for the public safety services, then all options are open. If we could get financing for a dedicated network, then we could build a dedicated network for public safety services. If we cannot get the spectrum for public safety services, then only two options remain. And these two options lead to a partnership with mobile commercial operator in Belgium. As a matter of fact, in the negotiation we have with all these stakeholders and the work we have done with them, it appears quickly that we would not get the spectrum. So the strategy we built was a strategy built on an hybrid system. And the hybrid system is a solution that is based on an MVNO model, and I would say a secure MVNO model. In that model, Astrid would build a core network, a dedicated core network that Astrid would operate for the public safety services. Under the control of Astrid, we can manage the subscriber, we can manage the communication plan, and we can guarantee the security and the sovereignty of the communication. With that core network, we can also make use of one or more commercial network to provide the service nationwide. With functionality like national roaming, we could even avoid any locking situation from one operator. The model also foresees that Astrid could deploy its own dedicated network in special location, in confined area, or with mobile devices. Of course, in such a model, as I just explained, we will make use of commercial network. It means that we have to obtain from the mobile operator the guarantee that the communication for the mission-critical services will be possible, and will be possible with the level of quality that they expect and that they need. To achieve that goal, we worked at a legal framework that could be imposed to the mobile operator so that they would be obliged to deliver the level of quality we need. That's a work we have done with them and with the regulator. We worked for a document that is called a royal decree, that is a legal document, that's the law, in which we imposed 3 guarantees for Astrid. The first guarantee we described in the document is what we call the PPDR roaming. PPDR roaming is an obligation for the mobile operator to provide access to his network. It's an obligation for him to implement the features that the public safety services will need. And we are talking about mission-critical push-to-talk, mission-critical services, mission-critical voice and data. We are talking about features like priority, preemption, access class barring. And also, with this PPDR roaming, the operator have to provide national roaming to Astrid. So the access to all 3 mobile networks in Belgium. And this obligation would be free of charge for Astrid. The second guarantee we get via this document, via the Royal Decree, is what we call additional measure. If the quality of service is important for the mission-critical communication, it's also essential that the network is robust enough and can guarantee the continuity of service even in case of disaster. And that's not criteria for which commercial networks are built for. So it is highly probable that we have to harden the commercial networks for them to be able to meet the requirements set for the mission-critical communication. So there are provisions in the document with which Astrid can invest in the mobile communication to harden the mobile network. And it means building new sites to provide additional coverage or even building new battery capacity to provide a longer autonomy in case of electrical failure. Of course, this additional investment will have to be paid by Astrid or the government. There is a third guarantee that is provided via the document, and it's about the cost of the use of the network. There are provisions that guarantee that Astrid will pay a fair and reasonable price for the use of the commercial network. And all these 3 guarantees will be monitored and will be enforced by the regulator in Belgium. So that's a legal framework that is balanced for all parties and that has been described and achieved. So that's good. If I summarize the solution we have today, we know that we have a mission-critical network for voice communication, the TETRA network. We also have a solution for broadband data communication. And even if it's not a mission-critical network, we know that we have a solution, a complementary solution, that is sustainable until 2030. With the building of a new strategy and the journey that we have started to build a new system for the next generation communication, we have guaranteed the continuity of the service, we have designed a new strategy, a new solution, and we can now build a roadmap to deploy such a solution. So we have a plan, and it's very good. Except that it does not go like the plan, of course. So we are facing some issues today. Which are these issues? First of all, the legal framework that we have agreed has not been published, finalized, before the election in Belgium in 2019, meaning that these documents are still at a draft level. Even if there is a consensus, they are not formal. So it means also that the work with the new government that has been put in place now, the work will start again. And there is a risk that the balanced agreement that we have reached with all stakeholders will be at risk because it could be put again into discussion. Another point we have to take into account is the evolution of the technology. The strategy we have built was based in 2017-2018 mainly on the evolution of 4G and the standardization of mission critical on 4G. And that is the release 13, 14, and 15. Of course, the standardization at 3GPP level is going on, and 3GPP is standardizing 5G. 5G is coming. So what will be the impact of the new features that are coming with 5G technology, like network slicing? That's new feature that is coming and that brings new opportunities that have to be taken into account. Also, we see that the technology may not bring all the promises that has been given in the early beginning. The first standardization shows that all features for the public safety services would be taken into account, even direct mode of operation, proximity service, air-to-ground operation. It is not sure today that these functionalities will be possible with the new technology. Also, the transition from one system to a new system may take time. We have today a solution that is sustainable until 2030. It could be that the transition to a new system may take longer time, meaning that we have to review our strategy to guarantee the continuity of the service of the existing solution beyond 2030, maybe until 2035 or further. So these are new elements that have to be integrated on our new strategy, and that is a work that is ongoing now. I thank you for your attention. Feel free to contact us if you have further questions about Astrid and our services.